Deathstroke issue 10, Christopher Priest writing and Katie Nord on art. You two read this. On you go.
We did. So this issue is very much a follow-up to the last one, but in reverse order.
Yeah.
So the last one started present and kind of worked its way back, whereas this one starts at the earliest point and works its way forward. It's actually one of the most straightforward issues in terms of timelines for Deathstroke.
I told the guy at my shop, I'm really liking Deathstroke, but I probably need to drop it. He goes, why? You love it so much? I go, I know, but it's probably just going to read better in trade because there's so much going on that's being seeded towards future stuff. It's hard for me to keep it in line. And then I read this issue and I'm like, oh, I can't wait for the next one. So I don't know what to do.
That's it. I feel like this issue will read fantastically in trade with the previous one because it'll work its way back and then straight forward, and it just meets in the middle nicely. So should we just start in the past, I guess?
Yes, they're in Croatia, Bosnia, actually Yugoslavia, and they're trying to bring in one of the Serbian guys, one of the generals, but they have opposition that's trying to stop them from getting him because they want to kill him for all the bad stuff he's done. So of course, Deathstroke steps up and takes out the opposition, even though he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, and he basically goes, hey, they had guns and shot at me. I'm going to do what I got to do.
That's what I do. And they're talking about his Deathstroke sword that he won in the in the poker game where he stabbed the guy and killed him.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. And we get Wintergreen being Wintergreen and really getting a tie of him. They call him English throughout. And we start to see characters in the past that we've met already.
Yeah, and you're kind of learning who they are and in relation to Slade. Yep.
And while this is going on, he's also talking to the psychologist or whatever he was in the prison, and that they're basically going to get him on campaign finance violations. And he's like, really? You're going to bring me in on that? And he goes, hey, Taco's got Capone, so you're never above anything. So out of all the bad stuff he's done, it's the fact that he interfered in a U.S. election.
Yeah, and they talk about how the only reason they haven't been able to take him down is because it's so hard to prove that Slade and Deathstroke are the same person.
Right.
Whereas this, it doesn't matter. You will get one, but it just so happens to be unrelated, so we don't have to prove it.
And that they have info from everybody, from his tech guy to Red Lion to even his own children that are willing to turn, or his ex-wife and children are willing to turn out on him. So then we go to Jericho, who he's getting all these tests done wearing the Icon suit, and why he has these powers. And it turns out that because of his dad had come into contact with, I forget what they had said. It was the sword originally.
Yeah, it was some sort of drug on the sword, right?
Right. Because he shouldn't have powers because he was born before Slade went through the process that turned him into Deathstroke.
Yeah.
But because of the sword that he had just got in the early part of the issue, had to be reformed using this new unstable metal, it unlocked this gene that was already in them.
Yeah,
so
it's just a genetic thing that got unlocked.
Yeah. So it's not that, Jericho can jump into people because he's Deathstroke's son. It genetically something was going to happen. It just happened because Deathstroke had this magic sword now. It drove it forward.
Yeah.
So he's just messing up his family on all accounts.
Yeah, and it explains Rose's powers as well. She can't really see the future. She's got the same thing as Slade, where she's just so aware of everything that she takes in all this information, and her brain isn't trained enough to comprehend it, so it just gives her these info dumps which appear like a vision.
Yeah, and it kind of reminded me of stuff from Harry Potter, where, she can be tricked. They made it very clear that you give her the right amount of information and she can be tricked into acting, which almost makes me think that's set up for...
Yeah, they talk about how it's not necessarily true. She just assumes it is because then she prevents it, so it never happens. But
so it's true to her no matter what.
If they're clever, they can subtly present little bits of information that her brain will then give her a vision, and she will think something is going to happen, even though it's just been planted, which I'm sure is going to come up a lot.
Oh, of course. So, and it also explains Jericho's power to jump. It's really not possession. It's, persuasion. Yeah. Kind of like Max Lord, and he can kind of get him to do what he wants. And then it also ends with this weird explanation of what a gravity sheath was, and it started to become Interstellar. And I kind of tuned out as I'm reading, going,
Yeah, I get that. It was a big slog of science info dump.
Yep. So, but yeah, it's still good. I need to see where this goes now because Rose also went to go visit her Hmong family in Minnesota and takes out a group of them and basically tells them never to come back.
Yeah, the green and black group.
Yep. And that she's there for a family mystical sword.
Yes.
Which was a fun joke.
Yeah, and I thought it was really fun when she just took them all down and then walks in and she's like, "Yeah, I got this."
Yeah. So, but yeah, so again, it's one of the most challenging, fun books that I'm like, what's going on? But I can't wait to unwrap.
Yeah, I think this one kind of set a lot of things straight though, because it was so straightforward in the timeline, and then we jumped to the characters. We got a lot of information that we needed, like we got all the icon stuff explained, and we get what's going on with Jericho and Rose, and I feel like that makes it easier coming up, especially with that Rose Vision stuff that'll come into play. Yeah,
well, and also the fact that his doctor, like his go-to doctor, is named Dr. Villain or Villain.
Yeah.
So, and it ends. I just remember how it ends with Red Lion basically busting him out of the prison. So.
Yeah, and it says next Chicago, which I believe this is the anti-gun story that we got solicited, I think, which should be really interesting to see how that's tackled in this format.
Yep.